Welcome to the latest episode of Doc Hardtree versus the World. This is Doc Hardtree here with Mr. Wright. Say hi, Mr. Wright.
Hello.
Awesome. So we have a really big show coming up tomorrow about pretty much aliens and all that fun stuff. I got a buddy of mine. He's going to be coming into the studio, aka bedroom, and discussing some kind of extraterrestrial stuff.
Wait, I thought you were like talking about like aliens, like illegal aliens.
No, that's Donald Trump. He's a different day.
But wait, hold on, like aliens, like what? Like different kind of aliens? What do they have proof?
Different kinds of aliens. Apparently, he's got proof.
Like hair samples, DNA samples?
I don't know. We've been infiltrated by the Greys. Apparently, there's the shape-shifting lizard people.
Yes.
There's my ex-wife. There's all kinds of things. All kinds of things.
We can turn that into a drinking game. Every time you bring up the ex-wife, we drink, but we bond and we don't have nearly enough alcohol.
Well, that's the problem. I'm actually going to stop it. Oof. I'm going to stop it as of right now. That was my last dig at her.
All right.
But besides aliens, there's like other stuff. I guess you would call it paranormal, abnormal, whatever.
Instead of like bumping the night kind of shit?
Yes. And that's where you come in, Mr. Wright.
That's right.
Double right. Double the action.
Well, along my travels along the way, I've heard all these stories, and I read all the headlines and all things online about the Stanley Hotel. Everybody thinks the Stanley Hotel, first thing that comes to mind is twins, a maze in the snow, people running around, guy with an axe. Well, not so. Stanley Hotel is so cool. Stanley Hotel is amazing. So my wife, when we were there, she told them that we were on our wedding anniversary, so they ended up giving us like the super discount.
Really?
Yeah, they gave us like this suite and shit that was really like beautiful. Like when you look at the Stanley, I'll bring up pictures in a second. You look at the Stanley, like the front window, that was our suite there.
No shit.
100-year-old suite, yeah. So we got the whole lowdown on Mr. Stanley Steamer.
So that was the Stanley of the Stanley Hotel. He was Stanley Steamer.
Yeah, Stanley Steamer. That's
Carpet
the cat.
cleaner.
That's the cat right there.
No.
And multiple other endeavors that made him tons of money, but the Stanley Hotel was his biggest
Shit.
thing.
Okay, well let's keep going off of that.
So I've always heard about it. So I told my wife, I was like, I want to go there. It's kind of on my fuck it list. She's set it up here in Colorado, seeing some friends, and we went and got the Stephen King tour. And it was pretty amazing because we're big Stephen King fans, so we just sat there amazed that the prophet actually walked through here, himself. And then you hear these stories about his like drunken debauchery there at the hotel and all these crazy things he did, and we thought, that's neat. So we went.
So he was a big drinker?
He's full blown alcoholic at that time when he wrote The Shining. He was like,
oh wow.
Yeah, his wife was about to leave him. I mean, there's a whole bunch of crazy things that were going on in that time in his life. Apparently, he had some deal with writing a book, and he owed this book called The Dark Shining that he had to write, and he left town to go out and write it. And while he was out, he and his wife got in this big ugly argument because they were going to this overlook, a hotel, and basically it got snowed in on the highway. He and his wife got in this big ugly fight. They couldn't go there. They drove back down. It got snowed in. As they're coming down the road, they see a few lights on, hence the Stanley Hotel.
Well, that's the Overlook Hotel, right?
Exactly. He shows up and basically says, hey, it's getting snowy out there. I got a Volkswagen Rabbit or a Bug, and I can't drive in the snow. We need a place to stay. And they're like, oh my God, you're Stephen King. And he goes, at this time he was just a college professor. So he's like, oh, thank you. And they're like, oh, you can stay here, Mr. King, but we got to tell you up front, no one's here. So there's like a cleaning lady and me. And he's like, hey, get a discount rate? Right on. And they're like, and that's where the line in the movie, your services here are no good, sir. Because he was like, oh, well, I can pay for it. The bar and pay for everything. They're like, nope, sir, you're Mr. King. Services here are no good.
Wow.
So he stays there, and the story goes on that to this very day, they're opening up a horror museum there at the Stanley. And to this very day, he will not go back and stay at the hotel to do any signings or anything. Like, he's scared shitless of the hotel, room 317.
Wow, really?
So when we're there, I'm like, oh, I want to go to room 317. But they already had a book, so we're like, oh, well. So we were there, and it was one of those nights. It must have been like college night or something, because there was all this like hot pussy walking around the hotel, like young hot pussy walking around. So I tell my wife, like, this is weird, like all these kids and like young girls everywhere. So the first night was a wash, total wash. I didn't
So
hear
were you
shit.
okay? Quick, were you okay? So you let me try and talk correctly here.
Yeah, sure, sure.
How much of a Stephen King fanboy were you prior to this? And I say fanboy in a very like positive sense. Have you read like
I read a few books. I'm a Dark Towers fan, so I read a few of the books.
Idris Elba, dude?
Yeah,
Gunslinger.
Yes, yes, I heard that. I'm kind of bummed out about that. The same thing. He should play like James Bond too. I heard like Tupac or
Tom
Ice Cube's gonna play like.
No, Tom Hiddleston. Loki
Really?
is gonna be the new
Really,
James Bond.
he's not
Yeah.
going black. I'm surprised. I really figure right now with everything you can edit that out.
Well, no. I'm not concerned about that, but like, was the gunslinger? I'm sorry to like detract here, folks. Was the gunslinger like explicitly Caucasian?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I read 4 of the 9 books, and he's supposed to be chiseled features with blue eyes, pale skin, a lot like he imagined Clint Eastwood in his like 20s to play
Oh
him.
shit.
Absolutely. Chasing
Okay.
the men in black across the desert.
Okay, so we're gonna step up off of that.
Yeah.
But other than the gunslinger, like his horror novels, Pet Cemetery.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Okay.
Why is Fluffy outside? Yeah, oh, amazing. Amazing. Great movie and book.
Yeah, the Wendigo.
Oh!
They leave the Wendigo out of the movie.
I know. I always wondered why, too, but I figured maybe it was a timing issue,
I think it was.
or people wouldn't understand how wacky this
Well,
like...
dude, when the little kid kills Herman Munster,
Right?
it's horrifying.
Well,
But were you big? How'd
Oh
you
my-
like it?
It, amazing. How could you not be an It fan? I gotta be honest, though, I never read the book. I gotta be honest with you.
Me neither.
That thing's huge. It's like 900 pages, and it doesn't have nearly enough pictures for me.
Well, they're supposed to have like a remake of it coming on, but I guess it got dropped. But Tim Curry is the clown. I mean, that's fucking creepy.
Why do they have to make Roland black? Roland Duchesne is not a black guy. He's a white guy with blue eyes.
Don't know.
Fuck Obama. All right. So we're on this vacation, and it was pretty cool, man. We got to go see friends, and we went to Colorado where, marijuana is, it's legal there, so it was pretty crazy. We got to witness that. That was pretty fun.
Was it legal when you went there?
Totally legal.
So this is in the last like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, most recently, matter of fact. Yeah, within the last 5-6 months.
Oh wow! Oh, did not know that. It was
Maybe, yeah, 6 months.
my bad.
No, it's all right. Yeah, matter of fact, it's what they give you in Colorado.
Good
Wherever you
to
go.
know. Oh wow! It's KNOW. Oh wow!
It's their paraphernalia so they can keep you on the right track so the cops don't bust you and chase
It
you
looks
down.
like something you'd find on the game Firewatch. If you ever played the game Firewatch.
I never have, but that works. That works.
Yes.
So we're hanging out and
Yeah, Mr.
having
Wright,
a
keep
good
going. I'm sorry.
time, and my wife says to me, we go to dinner at the nice restaurant there. Really nice restaurant. Jeez, expensive.
At the hotel?
At the hotel.
Steakhouse?
Oh my goodness, yeah, amazing.
Ooh.
So we go in there and we get the the whole to do kind of thing. We're hanging out, and then finally my wife's like, "I want to do the tour." She set the tour up, and I'm like, "What?" She didn't tell me.
This
So-
is day number dose?
This is day like, yes, because number 1 was a wash. We got there, and it was just like it was about to snow, so it was kind of cool. They just put a new maze in the front. That maze doesn't exist. I learned so much about The Shining that I didn't understand. That I thought the hotel is a muse for The Shining. That's all it was. It was never filmed there. Didn't do anything there.
Oh wow.
The TV show was done there. The TV series they did in the 90s.
Oh,
That was filmed there.
okay.
That hotel made no money from the time he made it all the way up to the 90s. He was going under.
Wow.
And then it wasn't till The Shining came and they redid it and made him money.
I remember the TV series that was like what they did with Frank Herbert's Dune.
Oh,
They remade-
I love it. Oh,
they
the
remade
spice
it-
must flow. Oh my god.
They remade it in the 90s, and it was totally like there was no
Oh.
sting in Speedos. It was the book.
Oh, but it was so good. Did you like it at least?
Yes.
Okay. Now I must admit I tried to read the book. The books
Books.
too heavy for me, man. I admit.
Very heavy.
I admit, like I felt like 7th grade Wayne. I couldn't keep up with that, man. That was rough, but amazing. The spice must flow. I must not fear. The fear is the mind killer. So we're hanging out, doing the whole thing. We're having fun. We got on this really cool tour. And the dude doing the tour is like, hey, man, kind of like Shaggy. And he gives this tour, and we're laughing. We're like, what? What, Colorado, guys? This is cool. And Mr. King is cool.
I just took my break.
Right? And we're like, yeah. We're like, this is weird. So we hang out, and we do the tour, which was really informative because I'm a huge fan of certain things. Paranormal for one. Good beer for two, which they have really good beer there.
Well, it's the birthplace of Coors.
It is, but I'm not a Coors fan.
Neither am I, but at the same rate, everything starts off good once. I mean, Pabst Blue Ribbon won a Blue Ribbon at one point in its lifetime.
Fact. But
okay, I'm getting distracted.
So good beer. Good beer was good. The really good libations were there. So I went and we hung out, and the guy tells us, yeah, man, I'm going to come back and do this midnight tour, man. And we're like, midnight tour? And they're like, yeah, the scary tour. You got to come back for the scary tour. So we're like, all right. Boom. So we come back around midnight to meet dude for the midnight tour. Now I already know that the midnight tour is going to be a bust. So I've already had a few, and I've checked into some of the, toothless grins, and got my buzz going on.
Blacktooth grin.
Yeah, that's it. And
by the way, rest in peace, Nick Menza.
Yes, Nick Menza. Moment of silence. Okay, so we're hanging out, having a great time. I go down there. We're waiting in the lobby, and no, the guy never shows.
So Shaggy, the tour guide, never shows up.
Never shows.
Oh wow.
Never shows. So we're like, well, this is kind of lame, So we're kind of laughing about it. And we're hanging out, and I'm ear hustling. I swear, I'm ear hustling the room. I'm listening to other conversations and people talk. And next to me was this dude, big Air Force dude, big brawny guy, kind of like Colossus from X-Men, kind of big teddy bear.
But he was Air Force.
But Air Force, and he did not speak a Russian accent. And
I'm a little concerned about that because, a lot of Air Force guys aren't big guys.
No, I go for it. I know.
He must have been incredibly smart or just incredibly susceptible to
mind control.
Yes.
Past Obama's mind control.
So not even Obama. Just I got a thing with Air Force people.
Mind control total.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, my bad. This has got to go somewhere because you wouldn't have brought up Air Force for no reason. I know you, Mr.
You're right. So I'm talking to this guy. I start befriending the guy. We start laughing a little bit, having fun. He's like, I've never seen anything before. I'm like, never? He's like, stuff like this doesn't happen to me. I'm here to debunk it.
Specify anything.
He said things that bump in the night, spirits, ghosts, things moving, hearing voices.
Like my buddy the Finisher. My buddy the Finisher thinks he's the anti-ghost call.
It could be. If they know that, I'm of the belief if a ghost knows this, they're gonna fuck you up. It's almost like when your mom knows you're jerking off, and she wants to come in and bust you. And she's like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "Nothing. Leave the room." But I got laundry. Leave the room. One of those things, That's what I think it's about.
Okay, fair enough.
So
you got Air Force Joe.
Yeah. So we're all hanging out. There's a bunch of us, and there was this death metal kid. It was kind of funny, with the nose piercing. He looked like you look like that guy, David Draymond or whatever his name is. And I'm
Zionist.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Okay, so he's like, hey, what's up, man? And we start talking. I like one of the patches on his sleeve, so I was like, oh, cool. So I realized he and his looked like Bull Dyke with green hair. So she's like, we like it, special things and ghosts and scary things.
I know the type.
Right? I'm like, smells like cat. Like pee. So I'm like, whoa, okay. So my wife's like, hey, let's go hang out with these guys, see what happens. If anything happens. So I'm like, this isn't going to happen. This is lame. So everybody kind of figures that Shaggy's going to flake on us. So we all get together. And there's a bunch of spots on that location, actually, that are very haunted. A big part of it is they have this stage room. It's like a hall, banquet hall, if you will. And when they tell the story, they put a hideaway floor door. Right. For Harry Houdini personally in that building.
The Houdini.
The Harry Houdini. The man, the myth.
Somebody pulls Houdini, that's who they're pulling.
Dude, the real Houdini. The man, the myth. Okay. So I go up to the stage to trip out on Harry Houdini's door because I'm
I would too.
Fascinated by the Harry Houdini. Plus, have you ever had a Harry Houdini before?
Not that I know of.
All right. There it is.
I have been giving roofies before, but not.
Whoa.
Yes.
All right, so we're hanging out. I'm tripping out. My wife's like, do you see anything? Do you feel anything? I'm like, no. This place is like kind of a wash, man. It's kind of a bunk, you know? Whatever.
For the listeners that don't know as well as I do, you've got what we would call the sense, the shining, if you will. I'm not trying to put you on a plateau or on a thing.
The Shining, I would say, yeah.
What would you say?
The Shining, The Shining. The seventh sight. Things come true. Come from a long line of this. Grandmother was actually a famous witch, burned in Salem, actually, and taken from Virginia and then burned in Salem. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Sorry about that.
No, you're cool.
So we're hanging out doing this thing, and finally I'm kind of like, I just want beer. Like, I'm bored. Let's go. And it's like, have a smoke, have a drink. So we kind of start walking around, my wife and I. Well, I meet up with the Air Force dude and Mr. Death Metal. We go downstairs in this like lobby. Yeah. And they tell me, and they tell me in this room that they're like, this 18-year-old girl was trying to get out of the cold. So she stayed in there, and she froze to death in there and died.
In the room?
In the room.
Holy
she
crap.
inhabits, but this is below, damn, I'm terrible for the listeners. I'm sorry about this. This is below the banquet hall.
Okay.
The cellar, if you will. It's huge. Does it make sense?
Yes.
I have photos. I'll show you in a moment. So basically,
we would call it the mud room.
Fair enough. My mudroom has toilet paper in it. So all of a sudden, we're like, we go down, we're walking around. My wife's like, do you feel anything? Do you see anything? I'm like, no, man, this is like bunk. So we go into this room where this girl supposedly died, and there's about 8 people in there. All the typical, like, go to the light, if you're dead and you don't know it, knock on the door, give us a sign, all that shit. And I'm just sitting there, silent as can be. So I'm like, I wonder if anything happens, I'm listening to people talk and the typical. Finally, I'm like, fuck this, man. I get up and I'm like, if you're really here and you really died here, give us a sign. Everyone looks around. The door behind me goes and opens up.
Ooh, really? Like opens?
Totally opens.
From a dead close?
From a dead close. I heard the laugh and it opens.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
So everyone's like, whoa, and I'm like,
that's not just the wind. That's a...
fact.
Intellectual...
So I'm like, whoa,
interaction.
I'm impressed, Like, if you're really here and you did that for me, like, show me. Give me a sign, Nothing, silent, kind of lame. We're like, whatever. Everybody leaves the room. But Death Metal, that dude, myself, Air Force
guy.
He died. And the 3 of us, and my wife, by the way. My wife's standing behind me at this point. And there's these double doors. They open into this big, long hallway where the furnace was at one time. And apparently they tore the furnace out and moved it.
Well, I mean, from experience, there's something called a gravity furnace.
Okay.
Which can be replaced by a regular furnace on the roof. Gravity furnaces burnt shit and sent it up.
Really?
Regular furnaces just put the heat
Oh,
in.
all right. So we're down
This is
there.
what I'm thinking.
Well, no, I have no clue. We're hanging out. Finally, me, Death Metal Joe, and
I want to meet this guy
and
now.
Air Force guy. We're hanging out, and
Not
it's
that
like
guy.
just us sitting in there in this room. And I'm like, man, that's pretty crazy, huh? And they're laughing, we're talking. So finally, we sit down. The guy goes, "Hey, you want to give it another try?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go for it." So we did the whole thing, just like at the haunted house at Disneyland. If you hear me, spirits from beyond, ring the bell. Ding ding. No, we didn't do that. That's a lie. But basically, we got together. We start talking like, hey, if you're here, give us a sign. Blah blah blah. And we were there for a little bit. Nothing. So finally, I'm sitting in the chair. I'm kind of tired of this shit because we've been sitting there. I'm kind of cold. It's frozen outside. I'm in a big jacket. I'm from the AV where it's landed the wind and the hot. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I go like, fuck this. I go, you know what? If you're really here, I know why you're not saying anything, because you're intimidated because I'm so handsome. 3 seconds later, we hear down the hall, no.
Really?
The room goes silent.
So wait. So you actually hear, what is it, like an 18-year-old girl
Mm-hmm.
from down the hallway go,
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, totally.
No fucking way.
So Air Force Joe looks at me and goes, oh my God, dude. I'm like,
So this is you plus 3 other people
yes.
who've heard this happen.
Me plus 3.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I'm like,
No.
yeah, no. And the dude's like, oh my God, did you see that? I'm like, yeah, my wife's clenching my shoulders like a bird of prey, going, oh my God, is that you? I'm like, no, it's not me.
What am I, ventriloquist now?
Yeah, I'm throwing my voice. So we kind of walk out of there, and the dude, Air Force Joe's like, oh my God, like, dude, did we really witness that? That's pretty crazy. And I'm like, yeah, man, like, that's impressive. When we kind of leave, we go out. Now, they have a third area. It's down below. They call it the paddock. It's basically, in the old days, it was a paddock where they had all the horse supplies and stuff. When they had carriages and whatnot.
Okay.
Now, I guess it's like a garage or a storage room or something. The legend is if you go down there and you knock, you know.
Okay, what happens?
It'll finish the knock for you.
Really?
Or the other one, they say, is if you knock 3.
So you go 1, 2, 3.
It will give you mocking the Trinity. The same way, if you didn't know this in The Shining, the tie that he's wearing has 3 planets on it in a row, and they're all 3 Mars on the same planet, on the same tie. So again, Stephen King's mocking to the Trinity again. Stephen King's whole thing is like
3 a.m.
Absolutely, room 317. Absolutely. So he's like, we're hanging out, tripping out. Dude's tripping out. I'm tripping out. We get up and we go outside to this paddock room. We go down there, and I'm telling him this story because this is what the guy said at the tour. Knock 3 times, blah, 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 blah. And dude's like, you do it. And I'm like, you know, whatever, let's do it. So I walk up. I'm about like 5 inches from the door.
For the record, his face is 5 inches from the door.
And the door has a hasp on it and a lock through it. And I'm staring at the lock. And I'm looking at it like, all right, do whatever you're going to do, dude. Before we did it, I tried to debunk by blowing on it.
Okay.
Tried to, like, step really hard. I tried to, like, jump. I tried to, like, make sure that the door would move. Nothing. Still. The wind didn't move it. Nothing. My wife at this point, myself, Death Metal Joe, his girlfriend with the green hair, and, like, 2 other people were with us. These 2 other ladies were with us at this point. And so he's like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know, man. I guess you knock on the door. You know? So he goes, I don't know. So he knocks on the door, 1, 2, and a second later the door goes BAM! And slams back in our face.
Really?
So Air Force Joe takes running off like Carl Weathers, man, like running up the hill. Gone.
Just,
BAM!
that's
Gone.
it.
Yeah. He leaves like, fire and brimstone behind him. BAM! Gone. Me and the lady's like, whoa! And I'm like, oh my God. So I try it. Nothing after that point. It was like Deadsville after that point. Maybe it was the wind. I don't know, man. But it scared the shit out of all of us, man. Everybody at that point was like, oh my God. So then, we go back. Everybody's telling the stories of what we just witnessed and what we just saw, and everything's groovy. It's fun. So I'm at this point. I'm kind of like, man, I just want to debrews and go back to the hotel room, go upstairs and like relax, watch some TV. Which the cool thing is, they're at the Stanley. They play The Shining on a loop.
24/7?
24/7 all day long.
That would actually
on
be
a
kind of
channel.
amazing.
It's freaking brilliant. I must have watched that movie at least one whole time all the way through, but about 9 different times in 9 different settings. But at least one whole time through. I love that movie, even after learning things about it and learning it wasn't what he wanted, but man, I love it.
Well, I heard the whole thing in the movie is Kubrick wanted it to be like a metaphor for the encroachment of American civilization into Native Americans.
Okay, now that we're going there, Kubrick, you're aware that...
He was insane.
Are you aware? I'm going to go here. I might even ruin your guys' show this week, man. Your alien show. Are you ready for this one?
Those are groovy.
There's proof now. They're saying that Kubrick faked the moon landing.
Really?
And it was all prior to... Bum, 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 bum.
Really?
Yes, yeah. Total before, Space, whatever that was. The movie that makes no sense.
2001 Space Odyssey.
The movie that makes no sense to anybody. At all. At all to anybody.
If you think it did, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Dave. It makes no sense at all. No. Kubrick gave a big double finger to Stephen King because they hated each other.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did not know that.
Because Kubrick had the Kennedys in his pocket, so Kubrick kind of thought he was like the man. Stephen King didn't care because he was like, F the establishment. That's fuck the establishment, by the way.
Yes.
We're out of beers if that's the last of that beer. We
cool.
have this water right here if you get that thirsty.
I will smoke some.
Well, you don't want to drink that water.
No, I don't want to drink that at all.
So basically, Stanley Kubrick totally effed Stephen King the whole way through, the whole time through, in that whole movie. He basically there's a bunch of metaphors in that movie, and basically it's all about the mocking of the Trinity, all in threes, and like, matter of fact, Stephen King wrote it one way. Kubrick went back, changed it around, and added the little. If you notice the movie, when you watch the movie, the opening scene, they're driving up the road in a little red Volkswagen, and then suddenly they're in a little yellow Rabbit. If you watch the movie, yeah, totally. There's no continuity at all. Continuity was blown to the wind. Basically, Kubrick was of the mind of like the movie was supposed to tell its own story. The quickening, which we know is from like the Highlander and all that stuff, is basically the same thing that they explain in this movie. That the question is Jack insane,
or is he not?
Or does he have The Shining? He's talking to the dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really deep. That movie's really heavy. So I watched it a bunch. I'm sorry. So I watched it a million times while we were there. Sorry, I went on a little Shining break there.
You're groovy.
So after we're hanging out, I'm like telling my wife, I'm like, man, this place is like haunted, whatever. So I kind of, at first I was like, this place is bust. This place is lame. They do not win the #1 haunted place in the U.S. So I climbed in the bathtub, which is really badass because for me to sit into a bathtub that fits a full-grown man is very rare. So I actually got to sit in a full bath. Well, while I was in there, you can hear the hotel, man. The hotel's really crazy, just like the way it sounds. So I get up, I'm in a towel, and I hear down the hall, feet. So I'm like, whatever, there's my dog barking. Now we got another episode, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's James Brown.
Hey, JB.
They heard knocking. So I'm like, whatever, I didn't think anything of it. Then I hear it again, and my wife's like, yeah, my little kid. So my wife's like, go check that out, you know? So I lean out the door and I look, the hallway's empty. So I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Kids can run fast, whatever.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning. I run out there again.
3 a.m. Once again, another
no one.
Trinity freaking mocking.
Yep. No one. Nothing. My wife is like, at this point, my wife's like, you think it's really haunted? I'm like, well, you saw some stuff. What do you think? The point is, I know what I saw and what I witnessed. The Stanley Hotel, for the record, listeners and friends, is totally haunted.
Haunted as shit?
Haunted as shit.
H-A-S?
Yes, totally haunted. Yes, H-A-S. Haunted as shit. Oh my gosh, it's haunted.
Now, a quick question. Do you think that the... I know it served as a muse, but do you think this had to do with the fact of where the hotel was built?
It has everything to do with it. The stone that it's built on.
Limestone?
Yeah, limestone. And residual energy and the way it, like, vibrates, I guess. Through it. I'm not a geologist nor am I a scientist, but...
Well, both those would say you're crazy, but
Sure.
I happen to think that pools of water and limestone happen to be a huge, what would you call it, like a... When lightning
vortices?
When lightning hits a thing, what's that called? Rod. What kind of rod is that called?
Divining rod?
Divining rod. Limestone kind of like, it traps energy.
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff because everybody has different things they've seen there and heard there and witnessed there. Everybody.
But from what you
talk
witnessed, you said there's...
I forgot.
It seems like there's intelligent hauntings there.
So we go down to this bar. They're totally intelligent hauntings there. So we go down to this bar. It's actually the bar that Stephen King wrote the part from the movie when they're like, no, Mr. King, you know, when I told you, no, Mr. King, your services aren't good here. Oh, when he's talking to Sam at the bar, you know, when he goes down there and he's talking to him, he's like, sorry, Sam, you know, I don't know what I'm doing here, Sam. Suddenly, Sam's in a tux and he's in a tux. And Sam's like, you know, sorry, sir, your services are no good here, sir. And he's like, oh, that's great. So I'm at that bar, and my wife's just snapping pictures, just like crazy. Yeah, into the darkness, just snapping pictures. And now, the guy was telling us that you could take pictures, and then days later, go home, look on your laptop, look on your computer, and see things in these pictures that you never saw before, or that weren't there prior. My wife got some pretty insane stuff. Like, for instance, I know dust balls flying in the air, and people call those, orbs, if you will. So while we're in the hotel walking around, my wife and I were walking around upstairs. And, you know, she's like, do you see anything? I'm like, nope. And she kept asking me, do you feel anything? Nope. Is there anything here? Nope. Do you see anything? Nope. So finally I turn around, I'm like, rawr! And she snapped, total hands up in my face.
Like, snap,
cowardly
snap,
line,
snap,
and she snaps a bunch of pictures. So we didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until we got home when we realized that in that orb photo of me going "Arr!" with my hands in the air, there's like 3 orbs right over my eye, like in over my eyes.
Like
One,
chakra
yes,
style?
and one is on my third eye in position, and then there's 3 of them over my crotch. Like
Holy-
for real, yeah, for real. My wife's got these pictures. I'll show you.
For those of you who are into the chakra and all that, the vegan, all that like Hindu stuff, those are significant placement of balls, for like lack of a better word of saying
Fact.
that.
Fact. So energy sources and all that. I mean, I've always been amazed by it, especially the whole. Who wouldn't be? Stephen King, The Shining, the hotel that it all like came from. He wrote the whole thing there at the hotel.
That's just been like a recurring motif in a lot of his stuff. Like look at Misery.
Mm-hmm.
It was like him
A writer.
him getting into a wreck on the way to the hotel, and like what happened if like so and so picked him up.
But, I mean, come on, and he's amazing, man. He's the king. There's no other Stephen King. No one writes like him. He owns horror in a way that like it scares the shit out of you when you read it.
Yeah.
I mean, like you have nightmares because you read something that this guy, these words, amazing.
Well, yeah. The last time I actually had a nightmare because of a book was a Stephen King book.
What is it?
Pet Cemetery.
Oh, Night Flyer was mine. That
Oh God, yes.
totally tripped me out.
And it's trippy that hasn't been in a movie yet.
Well, I think for me, and
Or
I
the
really
Langoliers.
my goodness,
That was made into a bad movie in my opinion.
Okay, yes, I agree.
But the Langoliers fucked my shit up. For
I
like
thought it was
3
great.
weeks.
But I agree with you. It was just like terrible movie. But yes, I think
And
what's
then you
going
have shit
on.
like the Shawshank Redemption, which is
Oh.
like not scary, but just like, oh my god, I'm crying at the end of this thing.
How could you not feel for any of those characters? That was an amazing movie.
Only guilty man in Shawshank.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a thing where I started thinking about it, and we started. My wife and I are both big Stephen King fans, so the thought of they're going to do the Dark Tower. He made comments in the '70s that he wouldn't put the movies out until technology could catch up to his dream.
Was that how old the Dark Tower trilogy?
Yeah, 1969.
Really?
Yes, the very first book.
No shit.
Roland Duchesne, the man running across the black in the desert. Yeah. 70. No, I'm sorry, listeners, forgive me. 73. I want to say if we look it up, because I remember thinking, wow, it's like a year older than me.
Wow.
Yeah, but the fact of his books were like so powerful.
They made a comic book with Jay Lee doing the art.
Yes, well, they made 3 books. Then basically after his 3 books, he took a break, and his fans were so crazy. He has these 2 little ladies, or young ladies at the time, that worked for him, that were his. They just basically did his fan mail, did his mail and stuff. Basically, they got inundated by all the fans sending him, going, "You need to write more books. You need to make more books." That's why there are 9 books in that story now.
I thought it was 12.
It might be. I know of the ones that I read. I read the first 4.
No, I had no idea it went back that far.
It's pretty epic.
I thought it was a Stephen King thing he did in the 90s.
Oh no, it's epic. I mean, it's
shit.
Totally violent, totally irreverent, totally mystical, totally fanatical. I mean, amazing, amazing.
Because see, don't get me wrong. I love Stephen King. I appreciate because like I said, he's a storyteller.
Sure.
My crack, literary crack, so to speak, was unfortunately the guy's dead now. Is Michael Crichton.
Oh man.
But I would have liked to see them at some point collaborate. That's not going to happen ever.
Right.
But that would have been an amazing story.
That would have been some killer horror right there. Like
oh yeah.
Well, for me, it was a thing where when I heard they were doing this, my wife and I have been saying for probably, I'm not exaggerating, for about 4 years now, we've been going, who would make the perfect Roland? That's the character from the Dark Tower. Who would make the perfect Roland Shane? Viggo Mortensen was like one of our top choices. We thought Vito would be the dude, Viggo, because he looks like Roland's supposed to look. Then we were like, that would be my choice, again. And as we're looking around all these different characters, we're looking at all these different shows, and then all of a sudden they show up with the dude they got, The way I explain this to my wife, it'd be like doing a Malcolm X story.
Starring a white guy.
Starring, like, Jeff Bridges. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd just be like...
I didn't know the actual portrayal of the character was that... Yeah, wow.
It's huge. It's huge. He runs around with, like, different people of different ethnicities. I think I said that right. But, it's kind of lame, Martin Luther King's story, but he's going to be Japanese,
Yeah, well, no, that's great. I mean, yeah, no, I get you.
It's just
Well,
kind of lame.
it's like making Frodo,
7 foot tall.
Aborigines,
Average.
7 foot tall Aborigines,
That would be a whole different movie,
a
right?
whole different hobbit. We call that the Throbbit, and I'm sure, I'm sure you in your background may have
Rabbit.
seen something similar to that.
Dildo Baggins.
Dildo.
That's great. That's great. The shaven shot.
Speaking of, have you seen the previews for the new Ninja Turtles movie?
Okay, it looks good.
Right.
It look.
I am a huge TMNT fanboy, and
I hope they pull it off.
I
I didn't
knew-
see the first one though. Was it good?
it was mediocre because it was all a build up to what's going on right now.
All right, like mediocre, like you'd buy it in the store, or mediocre,
Mediocre is
like
I shoplifted from Albertsons.
oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But dude, guys just play. Remember, Casey Jones?
That's what I'm impressed with right now. I saw that. I'm amazed.
The Arrow.
I know.
The
I know.
Arrow was playing Casey
I know.
Jones.
I wonder if he's gonna use a bow.
You got Rocksteady, you got Bebop, you got Krang, you got the Technodrome.
Come on, they're on top of this
It's-
now. My like whole childhood fantasy.
It's the movie I wanted back when TMNT 2 came out, and all we got was Vanilla Ice and two other mutants no one fucking knew existed.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
Do you remember Heavy Metal?
The cartoon?
The cartoon.
Comic? Oh, yes, I do.
Hello, Harry. I mean, why don't they make movies like that anymore?
Okay, but we have a Jewish wedding.
But you know what? I got to be honest. My friend Doc right here showed me today for the first time Berserk, and I'm pretty amazed right now. I feel like the urge to like put it back on here and watch it. This is pretty cool.
I will gladly let you do that.
That's pretty.
For the record, I showed Mr. Right here
Woo!
Berserk because okay. On a side note here, novels, people, anime, everything. 98% of it sucks. Care who you are.
So like Disturbed. Are you a fan?
I was. They were a really good new metal band. If you put them in like along the range of Seven Dust and Cold Chamber,
Right.
I think they had some potential. And I think like you can tell they listen to a lot of Tool. You can tell with the drumming and stuff like that. But
He just gets annoying. Just
he
one trick
get-
pony.
He gets annoying.
Yeah. And then
He's
I read
a
some
complete-
thing.
He's a complete Zionist.
Did you read the thing that he said to Mr. Waters? Did you read it? Did you hear about that?
No.
All right. So and I could totally be effing this up.
Waters?
So forgive me for yes.
From who?
Forgive me, friends, from the greatest band on the planet, Pink Floyd. So
He
apparently,
talks shit on Pink Floyd.
yeah, Pink Floyd did the wall in Europe apparently, and while they were there, in the middle of the wall, they pump out a big, huge pink pig that flies over the top of the crowd that everybody knows about.
Peter Frampton did that.
Totally. At the same time, during Money, Money, they pop out a hammer and a Jewish star, and the hammer smashes the Jewish star, and totally throws a fit. Talks to the king himself, Mr. Waters himself, as if he's like nobody, and tells him that he's got to change it, and that's the most terrible thing he's ever seen. And I'm sure I'm fucking this up, or I'm effing this up at the time. I'm sure of this. But this is something I'm gonna have to look up on blabbermouth.com actually to make sure.
That's where I get my metal news.
Oh, amazing! Blabbermouth is great.
That's where I find my baby metal.
Who?
Baby metal?
What's baby metal? Like
Well,
new
well-
stuff that's coming out?
Little Japanese girls playing metal
I
classics.
don't know, man. I don't know about that. That's a little odd to me.
It is odd.
That's like that little kid who plays all these Lars Ulrich stuff, and he plays them better than Lars.
Well, who doesn't?
Good point.
I'm not a drummer, but give me a good solid year of training, I could probably outdo Lars. I'm not trying to be a dick about this here, but you know I'm right, goddammit.
No, but they're one of the. I'm a fanboy from way back. I don't know how we went from The Shining to Metallica, but I gotta
Because
tell
Electric
you,
Metallica was Zits.
I gotta tell you, I hope this next album, whatever they put out, The Lords of Summer was a little wonky to me, but I mean that's just because I'm expecting something different, maybe. I don't know. So this that we're doing this here, how do we reach out to people?
We just gotta ask them to, comment and leave messages in the comment section.
Comment and like this, then, damn it.
God damn it, yes.
Comment and like this before we have to drink more beer and do illicit #1 chemicals. Wait, I didn't just say that on the web, did I?
No, but no one knows what your real name is.
Fact.
There you go. Otherwise, we have like kitten situation and. Oh wait, is that her name or is that not her name?
It's not her name.
It's not her name.
It doesn't matter.
No, because she doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Lots of people don't matter in lots of ways. But what I was saying is, I happen to be a huge fanboy of Berserk, and this happened from like 1997. This happened to me. And
What's so like rah about it?
it was just something I had never seen anything like it before.
Fair.
It was just something completely new, and god damn, it was violent.
I was like that at the first time I saw midget porn. It was weird. It was one of those like, I can't believe I'm watching this right now.
How am I getting enjoyed? Oh my
I'm
gosh!
strangely amused. It's like drunk fights, the same thing.
Oh, drunk fights are kind of the best.
Oh, they're great. I mean, watch two idiots just do.
If you're not involved,
if you're not one of them,
if you're one of them,
right?
God have mercy on your soul. But you better be amusing while you're doing it.
I don't know. I think nowadays that people expect to be scared in movies because I think that's just the thing that happens. I haven't watched any of these new movies that are out, any of these Grudges or any of these things that are supposedly really scary.
People think that substituting like gore is scary. In the first Halloween, there was like maybe a smidgen of blood coming out of the corner of someone's mouth.
What amazing movie!
The first Halloween movie,
but it scared you.
It scared the shit out of me.
Michael hanging out and
Just
stabbing people and come on.
But you didn't see him filleting people and guts flying out.
But then they jumped the shark on number 4, I think, or number 5 or 9.
I think they jumped at number 3 when it was like.
I'm sorry, we can't really say that jump the shark because that's a Howard Stern thing, huh? Well, hey, he's the media mogul. We could say that.
Well, it was the one that had the masks. Turns out the masks were evil.
Yes.
That was number 3.
That was terrible.
That was 3. That was
terrible.
But no. Instead of jumping the shark, we have nuked the fridge.
Nuke the fridge. They nuked the fridge at that point.
Yes.
Because I mean, okay, well, what about Hellraiser movies?
I've seen a few on and off.
Number 1 at least.
Yes.
All right.
The Cenobites are actually a major Cenobites.
Cenobites.
When you get into the later episodes of Berserk,
Uh-huh.
you will see a huge Clay Barker influence.
Really?
Oh,
now, I
yeah.
have a friend of mine, David Baker. He is the name dropping. He's the one of the judges on that show, Forged by Fire. He worked on. I helped him actually work on the props for number 3, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
He made the red stretcher for Clive Barker. For the scene.
Ooh.
Clive Barker's such a total homo. He has weird, creepy, like homo tendency, and so that's why his horror is so like wonky and weird, man. He's got this like dark, like homo horror going on. And they kept telling my friend over and over, more blood, it needs more blood. Can we make this thing pump more blood? I don't know why I did that accent, but it just fit.
Fits.
Right there. Yeah.
Is he still alive, or who died?
Yeah, Clive Barker's around.
Who's the one that passed away?
Nick Menza.
Oh yes, besides Nick
And
Menza.
Lemmy.
No, Lemmy.
Oh, my wife just walked in the room. We call her Miss Red. That's the name she goes by.
Hello.
Say hello, Miss Red. She's looking really weird at us at the moment, like, who are you talking to, Wayne? Or Mr. Wright?
Mr. Wright.
You're going to have to edit this thing, man.
I'm gonna try.
Damn it!
God damn it! She did that on purpose. Oh dear.
She's looking confused at us at the moment. She doesn't realize that we're doing a podcast here in the kitchen right now. Oh, she's running off like she didn't get heard or seen, but we saw you. You're going to have to omit this whole section. You're going to have to take a black marker and like over this whole thing. Redact it. That's what you're going to have to do.
Oh gosh, there's the door slamming.
Oh, we're in trouble.
Oh no.
Hopefully she didn't get the rest shotgun.
All right.
So I'd like to sponsor and say a few things real quick and say thanks to all my friends out there and thanks to our friends that are listening and anybody who supports this, because this is really a cool way for us to get our voices out there and say these things.
Please like and subscribe, for God's sake. Please like and subscribe.
And subscribe. That little button down there at the bottom of this, like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe this and help him out. Help Dr. Hardtree versus the damn universe, damn it. Or whatever.
The world, universe, whatever.
Megaverse, whatever it's called. And remember,
Multiverse.
listen to music loudly. Very loudly, as much as you can. Always, as loud as you can. And remember, Facebook.com/the Mofos. Thank you.
I will agree to that. And come see their show on June the 1st over at the Cruise Compound.
Yes, Cruise Compound. It's going to be our
But
first.
that's CRUZ with the funky things over the U.
No.
Because we can't say what his real name spelled like.
That was fast. That was good. That was good. I like that. And remember, if you can't stick it, you can't find it, you can't kill it, then it's not worth having. Be a good human.
Exactly. And if you can't spit on it first,
buy them a car. They'll never leave.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm a little lost here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And oh yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow's show. We've got something big coming. Like
Aliens.
Moby Dick, but with the balls.
Aliens.
Aliens, apparently.
Aliens.
But yeah, we're gonna get into that. But thank you, Mr. Wright.
Absolutely.
This is Doc Hardtree. We're signing off. See you next time around. Thank you.
Peace.